It's been a weird week, man. Just been I had to change my gym again. Well, I was going to the school gym because Texas decided to lift the mask mandate, but then I found out the school gym is shit. And then
Oh, I thought you said that you thought that it wasn't gonna be shit.
I thought it wasn't going to be shit.
Because you said they had like a powerlifting section or
I
something.
thought they did, and someone it was just rumors. Just a whole bunch of
Do they have more than one gym and you just went to the wrong one?
they have multiple gyms. They're both there's only two that I think I had access to. Oh, that has a weight room, and one of them is for their rec sports. So like they have the recreational sports, and they have a gym, and then one's for regular students, and that one is just tiny. Yeah, I'm just like, yo, you're a large campus. How is this gym this small? Or how is this weight room this small?
So for regular students, it's like the women's NCAA versus the other one is for the men's. Okay.
You got it. You got it. There- Exactly. Yeah. So it so much crap. Yeah. But I so basically I almost got kicked out, but then I'm pretty sure I was gonna get banned if I came back.
For
So
what?
deadlifting? So
Oh, so it's like a Planet Fitness.
I mean, damn it. Okay, so like, the first week I deadlifted because I was only in there for like a week and a half. Like, so the first week I deadlifted, I the guy behind me got in trouble for putting his weights down too, like he was deadlifting, putting his weights down too loud, but it was actually me. But I got off the bar before they could catch me. Um, and then this week, uh like this dude comes up to me. It was like, oh, you can't record in here. Granted, I wasn't recording at the time. I just had my tripod out, but he was staring me down and was like looking for stuff to like
Because
catch
you
me
was
on.
getting ready to record.
Well, that's the thing though. I was on my last set, so I wasn't recording that set. I recorded my top set.
Okay.
Yeah, and like it was like 30 minutes before that. So I was like, sir, what are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? And then he comes back like not 5 minutes later because I was like, okay, whatever. And I put chalk on my hands to get ready to do my last set. He's like, oh, you can't use
You can't
chalk.
use chalk.
He was like, I can't let you lift the bar with chalk on your hands. I was like, bro, I've been lifting this bar with chalk on my hands this whole time. This is my very last set. The and then so he was like, well, I can't let you do it. And then I was just like, well, brother, it's happening anyway. And so I put my headphones in and I start
Like
lifting.
you gonna physically stop me?
Right, right. I was like, yo, he was tiny. He was a small kid, and I was just like, yo, man, these kids they take their job way too seriously. You ready to get this started?
Mhm.
All
Do
right,
it.
all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another episode of At the Bench with Scientists Who Live. I am Dr. Dominic Stevens. We have Sam and Trevor here today. Just the three amigops here. Uh, just gonna, yeah, I said three amigops. We're just gonna discuss uh, what is the job, what is STEM job life like during COVID, and what was the job search like during COVID? I know I got my postdoc during COVID. I like finished my PhD and got a job during COVID. I know other people who have gotten other jobs during COVID. And honestly, I, there's a difference in how the jobs are got because you can't fly people out. You can't do the visits anymore. Because I know when I got so I interviewed for my postdocs before COVID hit. It was like right when COVID was hitting, and I got to actually visit these places, which helped me um, which helped me make my decision. So, I can't imagine how tough it is to like choose a grad school, choose a job, choose any, postdoc or faculty position without visiting the place first. You know what I'm saying? So, I was thankful enough I was able to, um, visit these places before I even before everything shut down. But um, the way, but I don't think the jobs have declined at all. I think we're kind of in a surge here because because of the pandemic is it's a medical health crisis. So like we are in demand. I would think so. I mean, right?
There's a couple of, this pandemic is affecting older people. So older people are dying, or
Yes.
or they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna work because I can't, because like, especially like I know a couple of professors are like, they were like, I'm in the risk of getting this. I'm just gonna retire early.
Mm,
But some universities, so like my university did have a hiring freeze. So like you have to get special permission. So like so there are some searches, but there are some that ended up just getting canceled. Some lines, at least for right now, they're probably to bring it up, but just thinking budget wise, I know some people they might have had offers last year that got retracted because of the pandemic.
really?
Um, but I will say, if you're not mediocre, you're gonna get a job regardless. The people that complain about can't finding a job is the people that are like, probably your CV just ain't good enough.
I
I
mean,
mean, hey,
those are facts. Those are facts.
Speaking the truth over here.
It's like you
So
ain't good enough. Just not. Yeah, I mean that's real. That's real because I mean especially like for some of my friends, because I got some friends in the tech world, like, there's no shortage of these positions, of these jobs, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to snatch people up. Especially these biotech companies, man. They are really trying to snatch people up. And I'm like, oh, you say you want to pay me 300 to 500 grand a year to come and work for you? And I'm like, you paying for my pain and suffering up front? Okay. I'm with it.
and why are you have a postdoc? If that's what they paying?
You know what? But a lot of them want a postdoc experience.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird. A lot of them want postdoc experience. Like it's kind of like you get a postdoc and then the next step is either industry or academia.
Okay, but it's like you have to have that, because some people think of postdocs as additional training, and sometimes it is. Like some people do need postdocs when, like, if you want to learn a new technique that you didn't have in your PhD or you don't have enough publications, then you do a postdoc. They're pretty much temporary. No one is a postdoc forever, but I didn't really know that industry would want you to have a postdoc before.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different like because I was actually looking into the industry before I decided to do a postdoc, and a lot of them wanted you know postdoc experience. It was especially if you wanted the higher level positions. Like you
Okay.
can't come in on an entry. It's like you could come on an entry level position, sure, but if you want them things that are shelling out that cash, then you need that experience. Plus, I mean, the papers don't hurt. Yeah, it's still a science position, even though
Yeah.
it's industry. It's still a science position. So they're looking at your scientific resume. It's like, yo, how good of a scientist are you? And it really I feel like it will determine your trajectory in industry. But Trevor, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not in industry right now.
No, you're good. I mean, honestly, well, depending on what being in the medical industry, because that's where I'm at now.
Mm.
That was, I mean, we're always hiring with that. I mean, there is no shortage when it comes to no slowing down with COVID.
Yeah.
I know a lot of they really just want to see that degree. I mean, the experience is one thing, but as long as you have that degree, that's really all they want. Say this study director positions. For those, I mean, you can come in with just a bachelor's degree and lead basic studies.
Okay.
I mean, it's really shocking to see. I thought there would be a lot more of needing, the postdoc experience, but that's not really the case, unless you get into more of the clinical.
Okay.
Once you start getting into that, then they want to see the experience, they want to see the papers, they want to see your whole expansive CV.
Right. I mean, because you're doing a lot more, or doing more specified research.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, even
I know when
then,
I was.
you said what?
Oh,
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, because I know, like, when I had a bachelor's degree, I was trying to work like at like labs that were like, they needed like techs or stuff just to do basic, either do run PCR or something like that, and I couldn't get a job because I had a bachelor's degree but no experience. And then the positions that just required some coursework in the sciences, I was too overqualified, so I couldn't even get in. So that's actually one of the reasons why I went ahead and just got a master's degree and ended up, like, firmly going into research, because I couldn't just get a lab, like a job at a hospital doing like tech work, like working with cells or anything, just with my bachelor's degree, because I didn't have any experience doing it. It was like that conundrum of a degree but no experience, or having or the degree making it means that I'm overqualified. One person actually at the interview, there was like, well, how do we not know that because you have a degree that you're not just going to get some experience and then go somewhere else? And
Like,
I was
wait
actually
a-
working on my master's this time. Well, like that I'll be there for like 3 or 4 months, get experience, and then get a job that requires a bachelor's with experience. So the fact that I already had the degree instead of just having coursework. And then I'm like, well, what happens if you hire someone with just coursework? Guess what? Once they graduate with their bachelor's degree, they're going to leave anyway. So why are you even worried about this?
Yeah. I mean, it
I'm
seems
like, I can guarantee you.
Yeah, it seems like a high turnover
A reason
job.
not to hire you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was a high turnover job.
Yeah. That's it. I don't know. It's at least the jobs that I've seen, but I'm not sure what the pay difference is, especially like coming in the bachelor's and then trying to, because like the highly specified jobs in like industry, like you're working on, say you work like say you work for Pfizer, you're working on the vaccine, I'm pretty sure you have
You
to,
got a PhD.
yeah, you have to be up there to get one of those jobs. And yes, you're getting paid a lot more than the low level, person who has the bachelor's degree. I mean, I
would feel
think,
like bachelor's would be entry level. PhD, I don't think that would be entry level.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping I'm coming in running a lab, right? Like that's like you coming in, you're running a lab when you come in with a PhD.
Right. So that's not entry level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would hope so, but I don't know how industry works like that. I have no clue.
One thing I'm wondering if it'll be easier, if it's a little bit easier to get a job now with COVID, is now people are that geographic, like having to be there is not necessarily the case anymore. So like a lot of times people maybe didn't do jobs or take jobs because it required them to move, it required them to go away from family. But now we've all been I've been working from home for a year, except for when I was teaching last semester, but it doesn't require you to be there in person. And now companies have realized that this will actually work. People can work from home and you can still be productive. Well, some people can work from home and still be productive. It's a,
True.
yeah.
You know what? But it depends on the field, because I can't work from home. Like I mean, would I like to have a whole lab in my home? Yes, that would be cool. But I can't have a cell culture hood and all the chemicals in my house. People would think I was making a biological agent. So, nah, it's not happening. But yeah, you're right. Like a lot of the jobs, especially like tech engineering, those jobs, like they can be done from home. Like a friend of mine who works for Dell, like they just sent him everything that he needed. You know what I'm saying? They just sent him everything that he needed, and then boom, like you just work from home. Like you don't have to come in, even though they would want you to, obviously. But uh during this time, no. So um yeah, I think it just depends on the job, on the job you're doing. Because like for me, yeah, I had to drive across the country or move away to, you know, actually do my work. But yeah, I'm sure it's a whole lot easier to get a job and probably get a side hustle too if you know, if you're just working from home. Shoot, side hustles are nice. I mean, if you can juggle that.
if you need it.
Legit.
If you,
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
unless
because like
you're Trevor
me,
with regular people money out here.
I still
I
don't know
still
what that
appreciate a side
means.
hustle every now and then, though. Come on.
I'm gonna be lost with that until the next episode comes out and I
It's
actually know what that means.
yes,
Um,
it's gonna be the next episode. This yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the one, yeah, well, we're for it would have been the episode 2 times ago since we're in this one.
Right.
But yeah, the like I could work from home because I do computational stuff, so most of my stuff is on the computer. If I had to, I could, like, I do have like a little mini supercomputer in my office, but I can always just like remote in to that, which I usually do anyway, because it's like the way the computer is, so it's a Mac Pro, but I don't have it attached to a screen or anything. So I usually just remote in, so it doesn't matter if I'm on campus or not. And I'm guessing Kojo, him actually doing, even though he's not here, but he says he does computational stuff, so he could probably do work from home there. I know one of my professor friends, her husband actually works for Bayer, and his job was in St. Louis, so about 2 hours away. So there was a lot of like some commuting where he'll spend like half his time in the week in St. Louis. And now that COVID has happened, he doesn't have to go there. And now they realize that he can work from home. So even when the pandemic is over, they're not going to force everyone to come back. So he's not going to have to go back there. So it kind of helps with that two-body problem as well. And which is great because that also means like people can, or maybe there's some postdocs where someone can be a postdoc, and if you're not actually doing lab work, like me, if I was a postdoc, if I actually did a postdoc, it wouldn't have been doing lab work. It would have just been using a computer. Why do I have to move across the country to do a postdoc with someone when we could just meet? With this, I'm actually bringing in a PhD student who she's going to do her PhD basically remote. Like she's not starting until the fall, but I'm going to advise her remotely because her project is somewhere farther away, but there's a lot of where she'll be, it's in Nevada. So like right now she's in Nevada doing that project and she wants to kind of continue it, but I'm like, you don't have to move here. Because she was about to say, well, I can't do I can't do a PhD with you because I want to continue doing this stuff with AmeriCorps. I was like, we can do both. Like, and I was like, and you can get paid more because AmeriCorps don't pay that much. I was like, dude, more. We just have weekly Zoom meetings, check in. You got my phone number, text if you got any issue. But like, even if you was here, I'm not gonna be standing over your shoulder watching you work.
I mean, shoot, you a good one. I mean, most advisors.
I know
do
advisors. I do. My advisor, when I was my PhD, he wanted us to be in the office Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. I didn't have a problem with that because it actually helped me because I like that work-life balance. Like me working from home right now sucks. As soon as I'm fully vaccinated, I'm going to go back to the office. And I'm actually considering not renewing my lease this year and finding a new apartment because I have lost my safe space for this apartment. Because I usually never work from home. So I might have to move just so I can feel like get that separation.
That normalcy again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only time that I work at home is if like currently like I'm like trying to finish up this F-32. Like if I'm writing or something, like I can be in the lab, but like sometimes my lab mates, you know, they want to talk. So those conversations can go 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what you're talking about.
Resting bitch face and soundproof headphones.
I mean, I try. I don't know. I guess I can't do it. I can't not be nice in these spaces. I mean, I guess for me, I can't be not be nice in these spaces. I mean, consider like one, considering everything that's going on during COVID, and two, um, like
That's even more reason not to talk. COVID is happening.
too much has happened. No, I mean, I just try to, I try to be nice. Yeah, I guess I just try to be nice. I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't want to be
if we
the.
want to go into the racial aspect of, being the mean Black person that's not talking to everyone, antisocial, you don't want to be labeled as that.
I don't want. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be the angry Black man. Not
I
during
mean,
COVID.
but the thing is, they're gonna do it regardless. So
I mean, it
it's
depends on the
worth
people. Depends on the people. It depends on the people. I'm pretty sure the two women I work with, they're allies for sure. Like, uh, the fact that one of them knew about sundown towns and the other one knew about the Reconstruction era, I was like, okay, okay. You guys got it. I messes with your knowledge. Cool. Like, I appreciate that. Trevor, do you know what sundown towns in the Reconstruction area is?
Yes. Yes.
I'm just asking because
No,
I
I
didn't
was
want you to
like,
be
I
lost.
completely get it.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be lost. I was like, we just talking about this, and Trevor's like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they talk
I was
about.
like, oh, yeah, no, I do.
Well,
You're
even
good.
but then again, if he said he didn't know, I mean, you just said that's how you know they was allies. So then that would have been problematic if he said, no, I don't know it. So
Well,
of course, even if he don't know it, he gonna
Or
say
like,
he did
well,
because
well,
you didn't
well,
already.
if I didn't know it though, and I just pretended like I wouldn't, I would ask, okay? If I didn't know, I would ask. But no, you're good. Like, I know, I
yeah, yeah.
know.
No. So it's because we've been talking here and we've been talking
I know,
with Trevor. I don't think Trevor would have like been a part of this if he wasn't an ally. Let's be real. Like
I know.
it's like I am the face of scientists who live. You know what I'm saying? So like it's I think for them it was more of it was a test. You test people because you don't know how they're going to, because I did the same thing, and that's also an issue, um like going into trying to find a job during COVID is like, because you have to do the interviews over Zoom, so you can't get a real feel for people, and I feel like that'll end up being an issue, like getting a real feel for like being because especially if you're going into a postdoc or something, or a graduate lab, like you can't get a feel for how those people are before you get there, because like
Yeah.
that environment is so important. It's so important, and that's the only that, and that's how I chose where I was going, because I even tested my boss on just, I was like, because I'm big, I love history, right? And I watched the History Channel while I was growing up. I'm a huge nerd, Discovery, all that, love it. When I was living in DC, went to all the Smithsonian's, because that was it for me. But so, because he was talking about, well, besides science, because he was asking me about me. He was like, oh well, besides science, what else are you into? And I was like, oh well, I love history. He was like, okay, yeah, history's great. He was like, what era in history is your favorite? And I told him like at the time the name eluded me. It was the Reconstruction era is my favorite time period, especially of American history. But I was saying, well, it was a time between where slavery ended and Jim Crow began, because it was a time of semi-black prosperity, right? So and he kind of he was um I wasn't expecting him to know it, um but he was like, huh, I don't think I know anything about that. Is there? And then he asked for literature on it. He was like, is there any books that I can read about it? So like that gave me a sense of, okay, well, even though he may not be privy to, say, my experiences, or privy to um say my culture or anything, he's willing to learn, and that made all the difference in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So he didn't like freak out when you said post-slavery, Jim Crow. He didn't freak out at those words. He didn't freak out at he didn't ask you to teach him. He just said, what books?
Yeah, he was just like, yo, is there any books that you read where you learned about this, anything like that? I was like, oh no, I don't know any books specifically, which I don't know if they. I've been trying to find some actually. I don't know if there's like many books out there about it because they try to bury like especially in American history they try to bury stuff like that.
That's why I hated
Um,
history growing up.
yeah, I mean, well, that's why I wanted to know more about history because I was like, yo, let me see what they're trying to bury. Let me uncover some things, you know.
Mm.
Let me uncover some things. So like, so yeah, so that I think getting a job during this time is probably hardest, and just for that reason, unless it's over Zoom, but like, but if you have to like get a job that you have to physically be there, I feel like that's going to be hard.
Yeah, and it's even hard for over Zoom. Like we can see like here, like we keep kind of like partially talking over each other because you don't get those social cues. You don't know, like you don't get those cues when someone's about to stop. You don't really see body language. I mean, there's also usually like a time lag or so. So a lot of that times can just make things seem awkward. So you might not really get a feel for the person or the place, so that might make you wonder if your decision is gonna, or like for you to make the decision to go somewhere, or for someone else to make a decision. If they're used to always having in-person interviews, they might not hire someone because they just don't realize that, hey, it was weird because Zoom.
Yeah. Zoom made it weird. Zoom made. Do you work from home, Trevor, or do you have to go in?
Well, I work, my work's actually across the street from my apartment. So it's kind of like working from home, honestly.
So
Um,
nice.
I am truly, I'm blessed with that aspect. I mean, I just wake up and roll out and go, like, but
Walk
no,
across the
back to
street.
that back to that Zoom thing though. When I was originally going in to do the interview for my current position, um, there was actually two people I was supposed to interview with, and the first one was normal face-to-face interview. It was weird because we were across from a conference table. It was just a really long distance, and it was weird getting used to that aspect because I mean I try to enjoy connecting with people, and being that distanced, it was really weird. But the second person I was supposed to be interviewing with was actually the above, kind of the top, the manager for the United States in my area. And due to technical difficulties, I actually wasn't even able to talk with him.
Oh,
So they were really going off of that one interaction I had face to face, and not that other one. So it was really weird because other candidates had the ability to have both interviews. And I was wondering if that probably made a big difference. I mean, they were going from my interaction with one person compared to everyone else's interaction with two. It was really weird, that whole interviewing process with it, having both face to face and over Zoom.
yeah. I can.
Yeah, and I mean, even with Zoom, like at least for like an academic, like if you're applying for like a professor position, or even maybe like a postdoc fellowships, they kind of treat those like professor, where you do interview multiple people. Usually there's like, you might have like coffee and breakfast with someone and you do like these informal chats, but you really don't do those informal chats when over Zoom. It's like straight to the point, like just back-to-back Zoom interviews. You're sitting in your office or at your kitchen table for the whole day and just like stuck there. And then another thing, because people assume that you're on, because you're at home, they'll just like not even give you breaks between all your meetings. That was one thing. So I was actually a part of interview process for a postdoctoral fellowship for my department this past, and even doing that whole thing where like the person literally had Zoom meetings all day long, and like there was like a break for lunch, but and they just, they have lunch by themselves, but it doesn't give you that like time to interact with people. Especially if you're on Zoom, everyone's there. Like you won't necessarily do like breakout rooms, because sometimes like you might be in a room with a whole bunch of people, but you might be just talking specifically to one person or like a few people, and there might be like side conversations and things like that, but you don't really get that.
Yeah, I feel like that's just so difficult because like
You don't get to be humans.
at that time you just kind of taking a shot in the dark, right? Like you just kind of like okay, well, I got to go off of this person's resume, and that's where your resume comes in huge. That's where your resume comes in huge because like, well, I can't really judge off of the screen interaction. So like I'm just gonna have to go off of what this person has done and can they produce this science, you know? Can they, do
I
what
mean,
they say? I
nothing
mean,
really wrong with that,
well, no, but but
but
there's
sometimes
some
I
assholes out
mean,
here.
well, yeah, I'm saying because I'm just thinking about like how sometimes um there's a certain subset of the population that gets the job even though their CVs are mediocre, but they get it because they're highly charismatic or whatnot, and they might not. So this kind of maybe benefits those people. But then you have some people that we know that there's like the identity affinity. So people tend to um, even when they're interviewing, they tend to gravitate towards people that they kind of can see themselves in. And
Okay,
a lot of times, like, these old white men, they can't see themselves in people that look like me or Dominic. But when they talk to us and actually have a conversation, they're like I said in the first episode, that I was talking with this guy about powerlifting. And he was like, oh, how much can you bench? How much can you squat? But he wouldn't have and that was at dinner. We probably wouldn't have had that conversation if we had just had a Zoom interview.
true, true. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, it was funny because still haven't. Well, I just met everybody in my lab, like just recently, like face to face. Actually met people. Like this is one guy who comes in later on in the day. He usually works like 6 to like midnight or something like that. So I'm already gone. Like he's just a night owl. He French guy. I think he's just on a different different time. But it was funny because you bring up the powerlifting thing because I talked about how I lift and all this other stuff. I even showed my current PI like one of my lifting videos from my most recent competition, and he was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're for real, you're out here." And the French guy, when I saw him, he was just like, you're really in shape. I didn't realize how in shape you were when I came for my interview. He was like, did you get bigger like in that time since you interviewed, which was a year ago actually? I was like, I don't think I've gotten bigger, maybe a little bit, but like not anything crazy.
COVID-15?
Right. Like not anything crazy. So not bigger in a good way at least. But and you know what? And speaking of people's charisma and things like that, how could someone get their personality, or can they get their personality out over Zoom? Because that if say your CV's lacking a little bit, but you know that if you just get this opportunity, you're gonna kill it. How can somebody get their personality like to just come through Zoom?
So I would say it honestly is just practice. Even if you have to like do mock interviews with maybe family or friends to try to just get comfortable talking via Zoom. Because I know like me, so my name is, I've been told my name is ghetto, or I'm Black because of my name. So there's a lot of times where I like just when I was like a teenager applying for McDonald's or something like that, I would never get a call back. And I've always been a person where just give me that interview. All I literally need is the interview and I get a job. Like every interview I've had, I've gotten the job. But if they just go straight off my CV or whatnot, it's just some parts that they'll be like, well, what's going on? Well, mainly it's my name. So we already know that there's studies that shows that. But like the fact that I had to work full time while I went to undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, why don't you have research experience undergrad? And I'm like, because I was doing this, but I mean, that just shows how hard I work. You can explain yourself better in person that you can't really explain yourself on your resume or even on your CV. Like now my CV has gotten better because I got those opportunities to do like my master's and my PhD. So I got those research experiences, but it was like always hard convincing, like when I was starting to do PhD, was trying to be like, actually talking to them so they can like know who I am and know and realize I'm a hard worker. And just maybe I just didn't have certain opportunities. I would even say like if you're like applying for PhD programs or applying for applying for grad school or even like with a postdoc, try contacting the person and see if you can arrange a phone call. The first grad student I got, he sent me his CV and I looked at his CV and I was just like, talk on the phone. And as I talked on the phone with him, I was like, okay, go I'm gonna bring you in. But from his CV, he had already been contacting people, and based on the CV, they just completely like, nah. But when you start to have a conversation to figure out like what were their paths, and you can see how much grit and grind and how hard they worked, then their CV is not, and because they're only going to put on their CV what they're supposed to put on their CV. True. You can't put all this extra stuff on there.
True. What you think, Trevor?
Honestly, I mean, if we go back to like having that face-to-face and building that connection, I'm a big component of reaching out to people, just like Sam said. I mean, whether that's through email, calling them, I mean, putting that step forward and putting yourself out there, that's the biggest thing to kind of, so they can put a face to that resume, so they can put, your personality and see you in that resume. I mean, everybody has, you're going to have, tons of people out there with the same exact resume, you same qualifications. That difference comes down to your personality, comes down to who you are, like I said, as a person. So I really think just putting yourself out there, contacting the people, networking, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I need to do it more often, but just contacting researchers on papers that I read. I mean, if I find their research interesting, I'll reach out to them. I mean, most of the time you probably won't get anything back, but that 1 or 2 times that you do, that could be a connection that will lead to developing your career path later on.
Yeah. And it's so hard to network. Like it's especially like as a grad student, like me, I'm getting better at it, but like I have a very pessimistic view of networking. And looks like my cat is trying to get into the dryer because I left the dryer door open. But anyway, but I have, I'm like looking at her. But yeah, networking is like, I think we might've talked about like, I consider myself an introvert, except for when I'm talking about my science. Like I've had to force myself out of that. I had to force myself out of nervous laughter because I'm the type of person that when I am really nervous, I start laughing and giggling. And like, I know like when I was doing my master's, my presentations, I would literally give my presentations and I'm laughing the entire time. And like, I was getting comments from my professor, like, he's like, okay, you got to stop laughing. You got to stop laughing. And I'm like, I'm so nervous laughing at myself. But it takes practice. Now I can like give a presentation or I can talk about my science. Now, if you want me to talk about myself, it's a little, but my science, you would think I'm an extroverted, but then, yeah. You just have to practice.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, like I feel like if you have a big personality anyways, like, it's going to shine through no matter what kind of platform you're on. But you're right. You got to practice. You got to practice kind of like you got to turn it on, you got to turn it on. Cause I am like, I'd rather be alone and nobody mess with me. Nobody talk to me. When I was an RA, it was basically turning it on. It was turning on the personality, because like you think I wanted to talk to these freshmen all the time, every day whenever they came to my door? No, but just like, hey, yeah, oh hey, what's up, guys?
And then afterwards going to sleep.
Right. It was just like, oh, okay, that was enough interactions for the day.
Yep.
So too much.
It was funny because there's like because like we've been we're at the 1 year of COVID starting, and we're seeing like all the memes that were popping up, and I just seeing a meme that was like, I'm an introvert, but dang, I like going some places. Like, or you might think that you're like, I thought I was an introvert until I was stuck at home by myself all the time, and then realized that like I'm like an introverted extrovert. Like I can be extroverted for like maybe 2 hours, and then I need 48 hours to recharge.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just want to at least go somewhere. Like I think that was the thing. Like I just want to go out and be somewhere. Like I don't have to be talking to anybody. I just have to be out of my house. That was the main thing for me because like I was like, yo man, I want to go hiking, which I could. Well, actually, some of the parks closed down during COVID, so like I couldn't
Yeah.
go hiking because it was like it was hit or miss whether or not those parks were open. There was no going to the gym because like when I'm in the gym, I train by myself, and so I just got my headphones in. But that's just I'm out in public. I'm not talking to anybody,
People see me.
but I'm out in public though.
Like I want to go somewhere with my soundproof headphones on.
Just, just not talk. That doesn't work for me. People still come up and talk to me in the gym. That
You
doesn't.
have to learn to ignore them.
I don't know. They take. I mean, they take no for. They don't take no for an answer, man. They just like.
See, my therapist calls those boundaries.
Oh.
So just you say no, stick to it, or like, hey, I'm busy right now.
It's hard, man. It's
know.
difficult.
Takes
It's
practice.
difficult. Yeah, it takes practice. I don't have it. I don't have it. But that's I mean that's cool. I mean, and honestly, like I feel like nobody should. I mean, as you said, like if they have a crappy resume, nobody should really have a problem finding a job during this time, or at least in STEM, right? Like
If you have, I wouldn't necessarily. Some people just need to know their lane,
okay.
and some people eyes are bigger than their stomach or bigger than their like they have an idea what type of job they want, but they're not willing to put in the work, or they think that they've done the work and they haven't really. They just don't have a realistic, like I know. So I'm the type of scientist where I like computational, I like answering questions, I like statistics. I'm willing to work on any system. So I do diseases, but I can do plants, I can do a lot of stuff. I'm open to the possibilities because I was like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get a job. Some people are like, well, I just want to work on birds. Nope, I don't like stats. I don't like writing, but I want this job that requires stats and writing and want you to work on fishes. But no, you should create a job for me for birds. No, that's not gonna work. You have to you have to figure out what employers want. If you see a job ad that wants you to be, let's say, an integrative biologist or wants you to do X, Y, and Z, wants you to be a good teacher, and then you're like, well, I want this job, but I don't want to teach. You're not going to get the job, and you can't complain that you didn't get the job. Or if it says, we want you to do, read that job ad, you read the job description, and when you write your cover letter, sure you're putting those keywords in there. Because if you're not going to get the job.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in industry, I mean, a lot of resumes and cover letters and all that go through an automatic system that pulls out those keywords.
Wow.
So if you don't have it, you're not even going to get it in front of an actual person to read it.
Oh,
So
shit.
yeah, so I mean, you need to have those cover or those keywords in there, or you might as well just throw that resume away. It's not going to make it.
Follow directions too. Like usually a resume is like 1 page. If you send them 3 pages, whew.
That's crazy. I mean that was I mean that those what Trevor said I had no clue that they had like automatic like cover letter readers. Like that's wild. I mean I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, when you're applying for jobs on like LinkedIn or I was about to say Snag a Job, but Snag a Job is like McDonald's and Taco Bell. But Indeed, yeah, when you're applying for jobs like that, they will definitely.
Oh wow!
It's like it goes to an automatic process first because they get so many applications.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't know if they also have an automatic process to say we're not going to take people from certain zip codes or certain last names, but I'm sure they do, Trevor. Yeah. But they're not going to tell us until someone is a whistleblower.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's why they tell people like, so my mom actually told me, she's like, okay, maybe don't put your full name on there. Why don't you just use your middle name? Because they won't know. And I'm just like, and I was like, or she was like, or just use Sam. Don't put Samnica. And I'm like, well, why are you giving me this name? and now I'm like, now everyone's like, oh, your name's, so unique and it's so pretty and stuff like that. And I was like, Yeah, but you know how hard it was for me to get a freaking job? I only got jobs when they have open interviews. Like, you know how many times people probably have thrown my name in the trash because that. And then I go like, even you guys been calling me Sam, which is fine because Dominic, when you met me, I went by Sam. I've actually now started going by my full name because
okay.
people would call me, like everyone knew me by Sam, and then they'll see Samnika and they don't know that that's me.
Oh.
Especially from a professional standpoint. And I'm like, nope, that's me.
Okay.
Like you can't, or they're like, think Sam and Samantha. And then I'm like, so I'll be like, hi, I'm Sam. And they're like, oh, Samantha. And I'm like, no, Samnika. And they're like, oh, okay, Sam. And I'm like, so let's just, yeah.
No, Sam. No, okay. You know what? I will start calling you Samnika from now on, and because I've gone through the same thing. My name, because like when throughout high school when I was growing up, everyone called me Dominique. It was fine. When I got to college, they shortened my name. They shortened my name to Dom. Like that was they shortened it. Dominique is not a hard name. At least I don't think so.
I mean, it's because of that Nique.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah. It's that Nick. That Nick gets you.
Because they want to be like Nikita. Yeah. They want to pronounce every single letter. I'm like, it ain't that hard.
Nah, it's not. But yeah, no. I had the same issue. I don't know. So my issue is a lot of people think I'm a woman.
A girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Women. Okay, so is it Dominique or Dominic?
Dominique.
Okay.
So there's no Nick. So it's DOMINIQUE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew how it was spelled, but I kept saying Dominic like it was a pronunciation. But okay, Dominique. Okay.
Well, I feel like Dominic as the NIC or NICK.
Yeah. Spelling English doesn't really matter.
Okay. Yeah,
my name could be Semnikuka. That's how my mom had chosen to pronounce it. But she said it was Semnika. So it's Samnika. It was almost Semurika, but it did not end it up. Because like my dad's name is Sammy, my mom's name is Nicola, and then the Eureka infomercial was on the TV when she was in labor, so that's where she got the cuff from.
Really? I love it. I absolutely love it. I was named after Dominique Wilkins.
So I'm named after a vacuum cleaner. Okay.
Fun.
Wow.
Fun.
All right, so let's go back to COVID and working. And how about the gym? So I know we talked about in the first episode that the gym is kind of like our mental health. And it helped us like get through our PhDs, get through our working. But then how, I'm guessing just this past year with COVID and not being able to go to the gym like we normally do, how has that affected work? So how has COVID affected the gym, affected work?
So when it first started, right? Like, there was no gym. I was out of the gym for like 6 months or more than that. And I was doing weird workouts at home. Now, thank goodness I wasn't really doing any hardcore science or really I had the stress of my dissertation. But like there was nothing else for me to do really. There was nowhere else for me to go. So like I solely focused on that and then doing like these weird home workouts. So but now it's a little bit more stressful because yes, I can go back to the gym, but now it's kind of navigating those waters of all right, like especially here in Texas, will the mask mandate be uplifted? Will it stay? In this county, you have to worry about what county you're in. Depending on the county you're in, it will depend on if they have a mask mandate, things like that. Like, so it's a little stressful. Like, don't get me like, especially when I went to like I said earlier, when I went to the my school gym, it was like, yo, this environment just ain't for me, because like these kids, it's a small space. I can't deal. I couldn't deal. It was stressful. It was stressful. Let me tell you. I was like, yo, I need this open space where I can be alone in my space, just lifting. I don't need anybody else around. Like if I need a spot, I'll call somebody over, but most likely I don't need one. So I think it was a little stressful, but I think once I find a good gym that's like for like I need to stop being cheap and find a powerlifting gym. That's basically what it boils down to. Honestly, that's what it.
You're
And
making more money. Maybe
I
not regular people money. Am I using that right?
Yeah, you
But
are.
okay.
Yeah, you got it.
you got it.
Okay.
Look at you. All
I'm
right.
learning.
Oh, what about you, Trevor?
When this all kind of first started, I was actually in coatings at that time, and they actually shut down the plant. So I was out of work for the first 3-4 months.
Wow.
And I had the stress of moving at that time, which COVID and moving did not work out so well. Yeah, that wasn't fun. So the gym's being closed here in Ohio, and we did at-home workouts. My significant other at the time, she had a Beachbody account, so I was just trying to do like the P90X and do whatever I could to get some sort of workout in. I think I had 25-pound dumbbells, and that's all I had at that point. My gym downstairs went up to 30, but still that was closed down as well for part of that, for most of it, because they just didn't want to open that up. I actually went to a supplement shop about halfway through to try to get, because my nutrition was lacking with, moving and everything. So I went to a supplement shop, met a guy there that knew a local gym that was, still up and running, kind of. It was towards the end, everything was kind of opening back up. So it was up and running, and it's just a small little family-owned gym, local gym. So I've been going there ever since. I mean, there's a handful of people there. You guys know I'm a late night workout. So when I do go, maybe 5 people in the gym.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's a huge like powerlifting gym. I'm like, this is
Nice.
nice. So I am, yeah, the beginning was very stressful with trying to get some sort of workout in, but towards the end of it, no problem. Was able to de-stress again. So
Nice. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
So for me, towards the beginning, like we all thought, oh, they were like, let's shut down for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, things will be okay. We didn't think this was gonna last for a whole year. So those first couple of weeks, I was like, it was like spring break happened, so I really didn't have to worry about anything like work-wise. My partner at the time, they had came here for spring break, and then they ended up staying for longer. So we were like, when they shut down our apartment gym, we were like doing little workouts with the little bit of equipment that I had, and then started doing like jump roping and stuff like that. Then we ended up going back to Detroit to where he was at, and there was actually a gym it was supposed to be shut down, but it wasn't. So we was able to like go there for a few times, as well as working at the park. I did end up being able to get some like an entire barbell from Dick's Sporting Goods. So I was able to do like in-park workouts. So I basically like kind of like had enough equipment to do workout outside. But then my dumb person, because that partner is also he's like a personal trainer. So he had, with the gyms being shut down, he was having issues because he can't his job, whatever. So I allowed him to have all my workout equipment so he can train people at the park while I'm back here in Missouri. And I have no workout equipment and also no gym. And I'm like, why did I do that? When the gym is my safe space. So I just, not being a workout, I was like, I think I was just doing like jumping jacks and trying to do push-ups. And it kind of got to the point where I didn't really want to work because I couldn't go to the gym. Like literally, I go to the gym first thing in the morning. That gives me my energy. If I can't go to the gym, what's the point of waking up? I'm literally was like, what's the point of life? There's no gym. We're 4 months into this. There's no reason to live because I can't deadlift
Uh,
or squat. Um,
yeah.
so I definitely got out of the habit of going to the gym. I'm actually just now really getting back into going to the gym every single day. And it's hard when you like fall off. It's really hard to get yourself back up there because it is that like mental thing of, because I'm the type of person like, if I don't go to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym, then I don't go to the gym and I don't want to go to the gym. So it took me a while to get back to that. But one thing that I found over the last couple of weeks with me going to the gym every morning, I'm actually doing my work. Like I can work until 4 o'clock and actually do work. And I know we were talking about in the first episode about coffee and being dependent on coffee, which it sucks when you have an addiction to the gym that it literally affects your work life. Like I didn't realize how much the gym, when you're doing it and it's totally fine, you don't realize that you need something to survive. And I'm like, literally, I need the gym or I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to do my work. And it seems backwards, but that's just the way it is. It's those endorphins. It's that it just gives you a sense of happiness.
I feel that. I mean, yeah, I guess the gym is my addiction, but like, I do it in the middle of the day, and I don't know if gym gives me energy. I will fall asleep after a workout because I exert so much energy at the gym. My workouts are
That's because you don't drink caffeine.
do I need it?
If you drank it, you wouldn't go to sleep right after. But okay. But no, I'm not trying. I am not the little devil on your shoulder.
You sure? Are you not trying to push something on me? Are you trying to push caffeine?
Kind of sounds like it to me over here, but
Right. The first taste is free. You're like, no, try to push caffeine on me. No, but I honestly I feel that because I don't see how you found a barbell at Dick's. I am.
Oh, it took like 4 because actually, see, this is the thing about Facebook memories. So I knew that it took me 4 stores to go to because like I will order it online for curbside and then they kept canceling. And I think I drove like 30 miles to get one and it was like their last one.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah,
it was only 135 pounds, but it was good. It was better than backpacks, right?
Right. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Way better than backpacks. Like I went to the stores. I couldn't find a thing. Not a thing. They were gone. So yeah, it was rough for me. But yeah, I mean, honestly, man, crazy enough, that time off from the gym and just doing body work stuff really, I think it helped me, like just overall in my overall health, like my joints and everything. I think it needed a break. Like, and rest is huge when it comes to fitness. You can overdo it. There is overdoing it. So
too much rest.
But you don't want to get too much rest, but you still need to rest. You still need to do it.
I don't lift as heavy as you lift, so I don't have to necessarily worry about that joint. Well, I already messed up my knees, but
true. Yeah, my body's like, yo, we doing this again? So yeah, bro. What you mean? Yeah, come on now, let's get it. It's like, you hate us, don't you? Nah. Love y'all. But
what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
That's what I hear. But you know what? Let's before this goes too long, let's wrap it up, make it into a nice little bow here. I think the biggest takeaways here is because you said something about your resume being like 1 page. I don't know if my resume is going to fit onto 1 page.
Resume versus CV is different.
Oh, true. You know what? You're right. Yeah, I'm stupid. It's fine. Because my CV is long.
Mine is like 7 pages.
Too many publications. Way too many.
There's no such thing.
Well, not. Yeah, you're right. But yeah. But like I said, let's wrap this thing up into a big bow. I guess the biggest takeaways here is, especially like if you have the CV, if you have the resume for that the job that you want. It's especially during STEM or during COVID, and like there's a big want and a big need for it. I know like there's some in some cases where the funds are gone, but you can find it somewhere else. There's funds everywhere, somewhere. You just have to go
Be
out and find it.
flexible.
Yeah, that's big. Be very, very flexible. Be willing to travel, like especially if you're doing wet work or bench work. You got to be willing to move across the country like I did. What I'm saying? It's one of those things where you got to be adaptable. You gotta adapt to your situation, because everybody in this situation has had to adapt. Try to make your personality shine through a Zoom interview. Try to be unique as possible, because some, like we said, your resume is going to look like 10 other people's, especially if you're trying for a competitive position, say like a competitive grad school or a competitive postdoc, or a competitive um professor position. So, or an industry, like you have to make sure that you are on your P's and Q's, because that perfection is going to take you over the top. You don't want to leave anything to chance, and you want to be able to get to that in person or that Zoom, not in person, but the Zoom interview, so you can be able to show them, hey, yo, I'm someone that you want, you know. So I think those are huge, huge things to just to keep in mind. Um, but Trevor, Samnika, yeah, yeah. But I was gonna call you by your full name from now on. I said it. But is there any lasting words that you want to give to our audience?
I just basically make sure you just tailor your application to the job. You cannot send out the same application don't just broad spam it to everything. You need to actually tailor it to each specific job. Definitely don't make the mistake of putting the wrong name of the job in the cover letter. But yeah.
Nice.
I think just staying in your lane, like Samnika said here, really just knowing what you're capable of and applying for jobs that you can do. I mean, they might not line up with what you want to do, but if you can do it, take it, because right now, I mean, everybody needs a job, and there's plenty of them out there. So take them while you can.
Yeah, just be flexible. Be
Yes.
willing to take what you can get for right now, man, and then
Work your way up.
Yeah, man. Like people, yeah. Humble yourself.
Like I started at McDonald's and Popeyes, and now I'm a professor at a R1 Institute.
Boom. Look at that. The come up started from the bottom. Now we're here. Now we're here. Hey, but for real though, hey, thank you guys for the conversation. Thank the audience. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, we're gonna try. Hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, that we're on Apple Podcasts.
It won't take that. It'll take about a week.
Oh, well, I hope so. But yeah, so hey, thank you guys for listening. It's been a great conversation. I hope you guys caught some really great gems in this discussion. See you guys next time at the bench with the scientists who live. Peace.